If we had to do it again, we would probably get a first AD. We'd probably want more money, more time, more preparation. It's probably another 100 things.
Yeah. Rehearse. Um, yeah, because we just didn't really do anything. It was just like dragging people to our apartment and being like, so you're this, go. And just trying to convince people just to hang on. I don't know, like I think the crew didn't have too bad a time.
No,
Like
the crew were, I mean, half the crew were just our friends. So we were all just hanging out half the time and
me and Josh are having like a mental breakdown, but they were having a nice time.
yeah, and you know, you look over at them and they're just like, yeah, come on, you can do it. And just like
Filling the apartment with smoke before every take, and just like watching, like, as you can see, like in the rushes, like, you know, they start rolling the camera and you can see everyone like running around, getting on with stuff. And it was nice, you like, because you just remember, oh yeah, we were all there, this like strange little family for 11 days making this thing. But really, like, if we had our time again, like, you would have just paused and actually prepared the shoot and properly, you know, designed the film and all of that. But at the same time, it would have been a completely different film. So like I'm
worked out.
yeah, because it is like it's like elevated genre art house, I suppose. It sits in that place, and a lot of it really did come from the experience of making it. Really did feed into what the film ended up actually becoming. So if we did have our time again, just to make our lives easier and to not go through as much trauma making it, we would have, you know, planned it and everything, but then it would have been a very different film, I think. Like, it was almost like that kind of method shoot kind of thing, like where you were actually living this complete nightmare at the same time as making a film about that same thing, that same theme. So with me and directing, and the ideas that I'm interested in, usually it's just some like abstract thing that I'm attracted to, like in a story. There's just something that sparks in my mind. I think that's probably the same for most people, right? Um, and yeah, and for me, it's like, for me, like when I am developing a story, I do try and like find the distilled like one liner thing that I'm interested in, like the core theme of what I'm doing. Like with Observance, it was not having control over your life, feelings of powerlessness and the paranoia that comes from that. And the film is completely that. And just always sticking to that idea and always coming back to it, so that it doesn't move away from it and that the tone of the film doesn't become confused. And so that way I feel confident with whatever I approach, whether it's just like casting, talking with actors, talking with the heads of department, whatever aspect of the film, with the edit, color grade, or anything. You always just refer back to that core idea, and that's what makes me feel comfortable, like directing a film, and that's what I like about it as well. It's just like my job is just to bring it all back to that one idea, and then like when it's actually, you know, like examples with like, you know, working with actors and stuff, it's always completely different because every human being's different. So when you're working with an actor or anyone on the film, it's just like understanding what your relationship is with that person. Like with Lindsay Ferris, the lead actor in Observance, like me and Lindsay have known each other for ages. Like we worked with each other on my first film, and he, like with me and him, we have a very specific way of working together on set. Like it's literally just like a little bit up, a little bit down, you know, turn around and do it this way next time. I can be really specific with him because that's how he likes to work. And then with Steph, it's talking much more about the actual emotional state of the character and talking it through that way, because that's how she works best. And so really, like, it's just me talking with people and understanding who they are and how I can get them to connect with my idea of what I want them to do best. So yeah, it's not really anything particularly specific. It's, you know, it's completely different, and that's the nice thing about collaborating with people in film, because it is just a massive collaboration from beginning to end. So it's just like working with people that you like, or at least someone who you think is appropriate for that role. The importance of marketing. Like it's really important. With little movies like this, you need festivals. Or you need a bit of money behind it to actually push it. I mean, there's other smaller independent films where they do have a bit of money, and then they put it into that sort of thing, like a big campaign on a domestic release or something like that. I mean, we don't have any money, so same with most movies, like they put all their money into actually making it in the first place. And so, yeah, you need festivals, you need festival exposure, so you have to be really patient. Like I knew what sort of festival that we needed to target with Observance, and I just made a massive effort to talk with programmers to get the film out there slowly, and that I just had like we paid for the film, and so it was just like there's no investors knocking on our doors being like, when are we getting a return on this, that and the other, so I could just be as patient as I liked. And we were just happy, like, with the edit, like we spent a year cutting the film, and then like another 6 months doing sound, and another like 4 months just doing the color grade. And yeah, it was just a matter of just being really patient, waiting for the right festival to come, consulting with the right people. And yeah, and then like it was just chatting with Mitch over at Fantasia, and they completely understood the film, like, and that was the great thing about it. Like they even presented it as this, like they like kept on like referring to like Polanski and what was the movie? Repulsion, yeah, which and The Tenant. Rosemary, like I suppose, like I'd seen Rosemary's Baby before we made the film. Like with this movie, like we genuinely weren't referencing anything. Like obviously like every film that you watch in your life does influence you, and the kinds of ideas that you come out with. But yeah, it was really like we wanted to make this film completely on our own initiative, and it was made completely that way. But these guys seeing this film and being like, oh, it makes us feel like this about it, and using those sorts of references was really nice, and it really did set up the audiences there to, with a level of expectation of what they were going to watch, because again, it's a very enigmatic story. And yeah, it went to Fantasia, and then we got some really great reviews out of the world premiere. Made some really great connections with just the journalists that were there, because it's a very big festival, and all of like so many massive publications and all these like press are there, and you can just literally just stand in the pub and chat to them, and they all know about your film, and all these like other big companies, all these like half of LA's goes and visits Montreal there as well, and they've got like the Frontiers market, so there's all these important people there. And then I think so we'll premiered on the Sunday, and then by the end of the week we had a review in the Hollywood Reporter, and that's when the film really just took off. Like, by Monday, like my email inbox was just full of people wanting to see the film, this, that and the other. And I had to fly to LA, meeting with like big agencies and that sort of thing, then flew to New York and met with other big companies there as well. And it was just like, it was incredible, and it was so exciting that the film just suddenly popped and connected with people.
We just needed people to see it.
Yeah.
We had no idea what to expect. Like, we didn't even know if people were going to like it, what they were going to reference it as, like what it was similar to. We had no idea. So when we had our first screening and everyone's talking about it, we're like, oh wow, it is like that. I guess it is good.
Yeah. And so I guess for little films like this, like it really is just a matter of, like for us anyway, what worked for us was that we were able to consult and talk with the right people, and then like figuring out like the whole festival strategy and where the film eventually landed. Because even I sort of feel like if Observance would have gone to like one of the big 5 festivals, like if it got like a Toronto or something, I'm just like, I wonder if it would have been drowned out because it's such a little film. And it would have just like it wouldn't have sort of sparked and picked up, but because it was at Fantasia, it really popped there. Even though like there were some massive movies there that were premiering, and it was like a really great group of filmmakers and some really great movies there. Yeah, somehow there we were just really able to stand out, and it's all sort of took off from there. And now we're looking at like potential like art house theatrical runs in North America and that sort of stuff, which, you know, for us with like a $10,000 credit card movie is incredible. And something that you really can't anticipate that, it just suddenly happens. Now with sort of DVD fading, I mean, some like in North America it's a little bit different. I mean, still like they've got like Walmart and stuff, and that really pumps DVDs, so you can make a lot of money there still. I mean, for us, we kind of are we're consulting and talking with a lot of Australian distributors now. Like all of last week was just filled with that, and there's some really interesting people and ideas involved with the project now and the release here. But yeah, we're really sort of waiting to see what happens with North America. And then in Australia, it is just a matter of like, I mean, for us, we would really like to push for more of like a theatrical or like event screening thing. I mean, that's what they did with like Wormwood, and then it was so successful that they actually continued it in a few cinemas with like a small limited theatrical run. But it's nice knowing that there is still money in theatrical. It's not like an impossible thing that a lot of people used to think. And their audiences are genuinely now seeking out these sorts of films, like with the elevated genre, that it's something that they want to see, and that they're feeling sort of more very fatigued by these big tentpole films coming out of Hollywood. And so there is a lot of potential there, and then it will sort of probably just be tied in with like a VOD, like iTunes, all that sort of stuff. I mean, generally you want it on as many platforms as possible because people consume content so differently, like from one person to the next. Some people really they just switch on Netflix and watch that, or like whatever, kind of like Stan or whatever they have here. And then some people just like, jumping on iTunes. I mean, there's platforms like VHX as well. There's like so much stuff. And I don't think it's ever going to really be dominated by one particular platform. Like now with like Amazon in the US is like going crazy, and they're pouring money into like TV series and movies and all of that now. So there really is no ceiling to it. It's just a matter of us finding the right people to actually get it onto these platforms and designing a release campaign.